Behind every billion-dollar empire lies a system. At WorldCom, that system was fraud. And while Bernie Ebbers played the public cowboy, riding high on Wall Street's praise, someone inside the company was quietly following the numbers and discovering a different story entirely. In this episode of the billion-dollar Mirage of WorldCom, we meet the whistleblower who refused to look away. Armed with spreadsheets and integrity, Cynthia Cooper risked everything to expose the truth. Her late-night audits would spark a chain reaction that brought down one of the most powerful CEOs in America. What followed was nothing short of historic: the largest accounting scandal in U.S. history, a record-breaking corporate bankruptcy, and the fall of a man who once stood as a symbol of telecom glory. This is the moment the silence broke. This is the beginning of the end. And it all started with one voice, daring to speak. This is episode 3. In a company that had made silence a currency, one voice was about to break everything open. Her name was Cynthia Cooper, an internal auditor. Quiet, disciplined, not a media face, not a rebel. But she had something WorldCom feared: a conscience and access. It started with a whisper, an irregularity buried deep in the general ledger. A set of entries that didn't make sense. Billions of dollars capitalized as if they were long-term investments, when they were really just monthly bills. It didn't add up. It wasn't supposed to. But when Cynthia asked questions, doors closed. When she pushed harder, emails went missing. Executives dodged. And suddenly, the pressure wasn't just about numbers, it was personal. She was told to stop digging. But she didn't. Alongside a small, loyal team of internal auditors, Cynthia began investigating in secret, often late at night, after others had left the building. They combed through line after line, spreadsheet after spreadsheet, peeling back the layers of falsehood that had kept the illusion alive. What they found was staggering. Over $3.8 billion in fraudulent accounting entries. A deliberate, structured effort to hide losses and boost earnings, quarter after quarter. It wasn't just aggressive accounting. It was systematic fraud. The more they uncovered, the more dangerous it became. Word began to spread inside the company. Whispers turned into fear. Cynthia and her team weren't just exposing numbers, they were threatening reputations, careers, legacies. But she kept going. She reported her findings. At first, the top brass tried to contain it, minimize it. But this wasn't just a hiccup in the books, it was a time bomb. And the detonation came quickly. The board was alerted. The Securities and Exchange Commission was tipped off. And just like that, the walls that had protected WorldCom for years, walls made of image, ego, and inertia, began to collapse. Bernie Ebbers, once a Wall Street darling, was now at the center of a scandal that threatened to shake the entire U.S. economy. The media pounced. The stock plummeted. Investors panicked. The empire was falling. And yet, even as the truth came into view for the world to see, Bernie had one last card to play. Because he still claimed, "I didn't know. I trusted my people. I didn't cook the books." But the question wasn't whether he had stirred the pot. The question was, how long had he watched it boil? As the world watches in disbelief, Bernie Ebbers faces investigators, the courts, and the collapse of everything he built. But the real reckoning is only just beginning. The numbers were out. The illusion was shattered. And the man once nicknamed the telecom cowboy was no longer riding high, but falling fast. In June 2002, WorldCom publicly admitted to inflating its profits by over $3.8 billion. Within weeks, that number grew to over $11 billion, making it the largest accounting scandal in U.S. history at the time. Wall Street didn't just flinch, it froze. Investors watched billions vanish in days. Pension funds evaporated. Families lost life savings. Careers gone overnight. And all eyes turned to one man, Bernie Ebbers. He denied everything. In press statements, he claimed he was shocked like everyone else. That he never knew what the accountants were doing. That he was focused on strategy, not spreadsheets. But few believed it. Because Bernie hadn't just run the company, he was the company. He built its culture, set its tone, made the deals, inspired the loyalty, and enforced the silence. His hands may not have typed the journal entries, but his fingerprints were everywhere. Behind closed doors, the board of directors demanded answers. The FBI opened an investigation. The SEC launched one of its most aggressive probes ever. And the Justice Department circled like sharks. WorldCom filed for bankruptcy on July 21, 2002, the largest corporate bankruptcy in U.S. history at that point. Tens of thousands of employees were laid off. Thousands more were left with worthless stock. The name WorldCom became synonymous with corporate greed, fraud, and failure. And yet, through it all, Bernie Ebbers remained defiant. He refused to accept responsibility. He blamed subordinates. He said he'd been misled. He even held on to public sympathy from some who saw him as a down-home, misunderstood man caught in a web of numbers too complex to follow. But the prosecutors weren't buying it. And neither was the American public. In March 2004, Bernie was indicted on multiple counts of conspiracy, securities fraud, and making false regulatory filings. The headlines exploded. A man who once stood beside U.S. presidents and Fortune 500 CEOs was now preparing to face a federal jury. The Titan had fallen. But justice had only just begun. And what would unfold in that courtroom would reveal secrets even darker than the fraud itself. Lies, loyalty, and betrayal take center stage as the telecom cowboy faces his reckoning in a courtroom packed with outrage, and history is made in real time. The numbers didn't lie, they were made to. And when the truth surfaced, it didn't just destroy a company. It shattered lives, shook Wall Street, and rewrote the rules of corporate accountability. But Bernie Ebbers wasn't done fighting. In the next episode, we step into the courtroom, where loyalty is tested, secrets are exposed, and justice is finally forced to speak. If this story has you locked in, do us a favor. Smash that like button to support more real financial crime stories. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a twist. Share this episode with anyone who still thinks corporate greed has limits. And drop a comment below. Was Bernie a villain, a victim, or something in between? The storm isn't over. The trial is about to begin.